All right, we're back at it with another lesson in the map making tutorial series. This time we're going to cover more placeables in the placeable system. We're going to cover sell points, buy points, and probably bins. Harvestor silos probably going to be a different episode, just because they run on a separate script, and it's just a little bit extra work than what we've been doing with the animal placeables. So if you haven't watched the animal placeables episode yet, I highly advise to do that. I advise you to do that. It's about I don't know, probably 40 minutes worth of watching. It explains it. It's a very good starter on the placeable system in general. We're going to cover a lot of that in this episode as well. So yeah, we're going to go through the actual i3D object that is going to be in your map, that the XML, the what do you call it? The XML that goes with with the object, what that's going to be pointing to, and then the items XML and the mod desk, all that stuff. So kind of a repeat of the animals XML, but a little bit different. So we have a generic selling station here. This is in the base game files. I have it right here in my data folder, farming simulator data placeables. You can use this. I use this on Lincoln Creek. I use this pretty much on every map. I usually delete the selling station generic, the object here. And I keep this, or you can lower this into the ground. Okay, so this is what it would look like in game, right? With the trigger for where you run your trailer over. This is what's going to recognize your trailer. Sometimes the trailer is too high off the ground and it's not intersecting with, especially for modded trailers, it's not intersecting with this box, or the box is too low, and the trailer won't work. It won't allow you to dump. It won't give you the I. And also, if it's not identified in the mod desk, it won't give you that either. I to dump, the I key. So usually I typically lower this, and I'll show you this here in a bit. I lower that into the ground, and I'll typically have the gameplay aspect up here, and you can resize this however you want. You can resize this, up and down. I'd keep it the same height if I were you, the same Y translation or scale, but you can scale it in the X and Z axis all you want. That is basically what I do. I'll show you here. I think on Lincoln Creek we have that. Let me go over here really quick. Where's the good sell point? There's one right here. Okay, so I have a separate dump point here, so you can't actually see what's going on, but or you can't see what we just looked at, but the gameplay aspect, you see the ramp is actually below the ground. You can't actually see it. And the gameplay aspect here, the actual trigger is above ground like this. So this is as close as you can get to the ground without being, the box intersecting with the ground, I'm pretty sure. So that's how I did it. And yeah, I scaled it. No, it's all 1:1:1. Okay. Yeah, well, it fits pretty well. So you don't really need to rescale that box. So that's how I do it. It has it's a little bit different for bins. It's a little bit different for selling points, the triggers and everything. But I'm going to go through and show you all that, and show you how that works here in a bit. So we're going to go into the XML. So for that generic selling point, this is the XML. And what you could do is you want to have this i3D. Let me pull up Lincoln Creek, the file structure here for so I have a sell point section, and is all in its own folder. I mean, you can have all your placeables in one folder if you want. I just divide it into buy points, sell points, and just general placeables, and then animals, bulls, bunker here. Just my way of organizing things. As long as you're keeping this file path correct right here, and finding the right folder and everything, then you're fine. Okay, so this is actually pointing to the base game. Mine would be so this is Borden. Mine is pointing to my sell points folder here. Okay, that's the biggest thing. All right, the rest of this stuff, not really necessary. I don't change any of this stuff, I don't think. I have, sell station. Yeah, it's all that PNG's there. All of this is different. Yeah, can be sold, shown as store, false. Yeah, placeable type selling station. Pretty much, I do change the selling station name here. It's just selling station generic. and this one's Borda and Dairy Company. Appears on PDA. I put that as true. I don't know if they have it as true. Oh, they do have it as true. Okay. And then it's pointing to the trigger, the exact fill root node. That is right here at 0, all those zeros right there. That's right there. Okay, that's the only thing it's really pointing to. The rest of this is just part of the placeable, and it has no reference in the XML. The big part that you're going to be want to be paying attention to here is the fill types. Let's say you only want to be able to be able to sell maize and soybeans. You would delete potatoes, sugar beets, sugar cane, everything else, and just keep that. You can disable price drop if you want, so it's just a constant price if you want. Normally people don't do that. Supports great demand. You can have that as false if you want. It doesn't really matter. And that's it. That's how simple this is. I mean, I couldn't make it. It's so simple to do. So what I would do is, put this in here, the selling station. Make sure it's in, as we talked about in the animals section, in your placeable placeholder.onCreate group, so that it doesn't appear in game. You would then export this to your sell points folder, and then you would have your XML that we just pulled up. You would have that XML. So if it was Borda and Dairy, it would be pointing to where I just exported that i3D, just like we did with the animals. Okay, and then after that, you would go to items XML. You would punch in the coordinates of that selling station. So this one is, let's see, where it does it even have? I mean, you don't have to. You can zero it out when you bring it in to your sell points folder. You open it up in GE and zero it out. I don't think sell points, you actually have to zero them out. I don't know why it does it this way, but as long as you're giving the correct coordinates in here, yep, this is where this is at, FCS. As long as you're giving the correct coordinates in here, correct rotation and everything, you're fine. I would just zero out the selling point after you export it from the map anyways. That's just do that. But I'm almost certain that for some reason selling points, they'll always go to this translation, which is really weird. I don't know why it does that. There's something up with the game where it just defaults to that. Okay, so that's selling stations. That's super easy, right? You have to put it in the mod desk too. I should make sure to pull that up just to make sure you're doing it right. So in the mod desk, you're gonna want that selling station. In here, I'm sure I named it FES. Yeah, there we go, FCS. And there's the file path right there. Sell point's already at the front of the folder, so you don't have to do the .. The mod desk at the front of the folder, so you don't have to do that. And that's it. That's literally it. Super easy. You guys want to check out let's check out one of these bins. So let's go into bins. I think, yeah, it's just that bin, I think. Okay, let's check out bins now. Let's open that up. Let's go into back here. Let's go to bins that are separate, ones that you have to use augers for. I'm assuming the next game is going to be very similar to this. So we have a bin just sitting here. Okay, this isn't actually the bin. It's a smaller bin. I changed all these to smaller sizes. So this would be the bin that would show up there. Okay, this bin is in the placeholders group again over here on the left side. Placeables placeholder.onCreate. I basically, what I'll do, my workflow is just I'll import these bins, put them in this placeholder group, put them where they need to be, and then have them visible. They'll be invisible. That's what this user attribute does, makes them invisible in game and makes them without collisions. And I'll do this, and then I know where it is when I'm working with the map, or cutting off the field or expanding a field. I'll know where these objects are without having to re-import them and put them in that spot again. Okay, so this is where it's at, and I would just export to this folder, to this bin folder, or maybe you've already done that before importing it into the map. You can do it either way. Zero it out when you pull it into the map. Make sure, or pull it into this in here in a separate GE. Zero it out like you would. Okay, this is the bin, and then you would need the corresponding XML. You can take my XMLs if you want. You can take the bin. You could take any placeable and just take the XML. You don't need the mod desk for the placeable, but you take the XML and the i3D and add it into your map. That's all you would need to do. But I pretty much use the same bins over and over again. Let's have a look at the nodes really quick. So there's a level area, a clear area. I always zero them out just like with animals. And then there's the object group. Remember, keep these in order. Don't mess up the order or you're gonna have to change the order in here. Okay. We have loading station. Okay. That loading station name, pretty straightforward stuff. You would see this with the base game placeables as well. Appears on PDA. False. That can be annoying for bins because there's usually a lot together and you can't click on one. Let's see. Load trigger node. Fill liters per second. So this is where the trigger node is for this. Let's go to 0, 1. And then what does it say? 1, 0, 1, 0, 3 zeros. That's a ways in here. So here would be the trigger for unloading into this little box here. Unloading into, let's say you have an auger under this outspout, this out auger. That's the trigger. That's where it would be. Okay, and I'm almost certain that it's going to be the same way for the next game. That's the only way I can imagine them doing it. Maybe changing the order a little bit. The XMLs might look a little bit different, but this is going to be pretty close. Then you have effect class pipe effect. That is right here. This group right here. This is going to be the smoke and where the material coming out of the bin is going to be. So this is the dust or smoke, whatever. And this is where the material is coming out. Right here, that's at this position, discharge effect. Okay, material type, pipe. I've never messed with control point max blending fade time. I've never messed with that. Smoke, we've already seen that at this location. Okay, unloading station appears on, okay. This is at 0, 0, 0. Okay, so this one is right. Let's click on this, it's way down here. There we go, the exact fill root node. So remember when we were looking at the selling point placeable and it had the exact fill root node on the ground and everything, this one is up on top of the bin. So you need to get that auger through this box, and you can make this box as big as you want, really. You can scale it however you want so that it's intersecting with the auger. You can make it easier for yourself. It needs to intersect with this box in order for you to be able to unload into this bin. Okay? That's basically what this line is talking about. All right. Storage areas, storage node. Yeah, this is what is 0, 2. Just 0, 2. 0, 1. Yeah, I don't know level area. I don't know what that node. I don't think I've ever messed with this node. I've always messed with this line though, and what we can store. And here you can see I have dry maze. This is an extra fill type I've added to the map. You're gonna learn that later, but not right now. Hopefully they don't change the fill type system too drastically in the next game. There's the capacity per fill type. So this is per, so oats you can store 170,000, or is that? Yeah, it's 170,000. I know math. It's a hotspot on the map. Hideable, true. That's all you need to know for that line. Oh, this one has a seasons mask. So all of these placeables, since we built a seasons mask into the map, I'm gonna show you how to do a seasons mask if I haven't already. I don't think I have. You're going to need this line at the bottom of every single placeable that's baked into the map. If not, seasons will not work with your placeable, and it's going to cause a host of problems, mainly with animals. It crashes, I believe, or the save doesn't work. You want this line in here for seasons, for your placeable, okay? This is basically saying, hey, I don't need to put a snow area, an area for where the snow's not supposed to fall in this group, because I've already done it in the map. I've already cleared this area of snow, basically. I've already told the map that there's not going to be snow falling here, okay? Otherwise, you would need that, but yeah, so that's to basically disable seasons. I don't think that's going to be relevant in the next game, though. It might be. And that is, at the heart of it, that's, yeah, that's the storage bins. Okay, and then the other ones are very similar to selling station. So do I have one in here? I bet I do. The other ones are very similar. Yeah, so we have one right here. Now these are a little different. These are corn dry. This is a corn dryer. So maybe this isn't the best example, because this uses GC. Oh, I should cover. Did I exit out of this? Okay, so should cover map position. Does it have map position? This is where you spawn, or where you're supposed to spawn. If you have a map position line in your XML, this is where you would spawn. But if you clicked on that hotspot on the map and you said travel to this is the spawn position. Okay, just make sure the nodes are correct in the XML. Okay, not a hugely important one, but if you don't want to spawn inside the bins, you got to adjust this node. Okay. So yeah, these very similar to the base game, but a little bit different because they're through global companies. So this is not entirely relevant. Let me see if I can pull up a bin here. Let's go to data. Placeables, farm silo large. That might work. Yeah. Open that up. Shouldn't take that long to load. Right? There we go. So this is what the base game one looks like. You can tear this apart, basically. Replace this with a transform group, whatever you want. The thing we really want, we don't need any of this. Really. I mean, you can replace all of this with transform groups. What we need is gameplay. Gameplay is the one that's important. Okay. This is okay. This is the exact fill root node right here. Okay. And then this is the out node. Just like the other bins, except this one is on the ground. Okay. This one's down here. This one over here, same thing. Except sire off the ground, you don't need an auger. Okay. That's super easy. I keep burping, I apologize. Okay, so let's exit out of that. Don't save any of this. All right, so that covers those. There are other things that maybe you'll want to mess around with as well. What do I have in placeable? So I got animals, bins, bunker silos. That's just like, you could use a base game bunker silo, bunker that you would plop on the ground. That's just like, I just brought it out of the mod folder that it was in, brought it in here, and brought the XML in here and did the same that we did with bins. Fences, you can do fences. Like I just used a decorative XML. So some of the fences I wanted to be sellable. So you would take a decorative object like a farm barn from the base game, you would delete the farm barn and put whatever object you want to be sellable, so like fences or something like that, in its place, and then use the same XML. That's it. Some of these are a little bit more advanced stuff, so we'll cover that later. Buy points. Make sure also, just like the important thing is 3 XMLs you have to edit. That's the mod desk, the items XML, and the actual object, the XML that goes with the object. Okay. And you need to make sure you know where the object is on the map. So you're going to have it in that placeholder.onCreate group. And then you're going to zero that out when you export it to your folder. Okay. Needs to be within the map folder. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to locate it. Your file path is going to be wrong unless you want a dirty mod folder. It's going to be difficult to find. The object and XML that you're looking for, it's just going to be a mess. Just keep it in order. Okay, so buy points. Buy points. Do I have buy points on the map in a separate group? I don't know. Pretty sure I do. Doing this thing where it's like leaning to the right for some reason if you click a certain button. So for here, kind of similar, kind of not. So I got a buy points group in here. Okay, so this one's for buying seed. All right. Let me pull that up here. File open. Nope. Lincoln Creek buy points. Pretty sure I have a seed file in here. There we go. That's for seed. Yeah, that's all it is. Let me pull up the XML. And you can do this for any object. Just go look at the XML, look at what the components are. like you just need the primary function and everything else you can edit out. So there was probably an object here, this is where this transform group is, and I just deleted it and put a transform group in its place. Same with area definitions. You don't need any of this stuff. What you need is the gameplay section. This is what you need. Okay, and it all has to be in order, everything you see there. Okay, so this one just has an out trigger. So it has the actual physical box that you're going to be in and the pipe effect, just like the bin, except this one you're not filling. It's a buy point. Okay, and this is what it would look like. Heartland Seed. See here, appears on PDA Falls. Yeah, this is where the i3D is. It's now the placeable type is a buying station. I should show you that in the items XML, the placeable types and everything, so you know what you're doing in the items XML. Pipe effect, same. See, it's the same thing, except a little bit different. It's got fill type, seeds. I changed the price scale in here. But yeah, basically the same concept, okay, with the seasons part, okay? Same concept, and this follows true for every single placeable, every single buy point that you're going to see, okay? It's going to have that gameplay aspect of it, and then the rest is going to be like an object or clear area definitions or something like that. You don't really need those. You can zero it all out and you can delete those lines in the XML just like we did with the animal placeable. You just need the important lines, okay? You just need the ones that are talking about what's going on in the gameplay, which is what we just covered. Okay, let me go into the items XML here. Items XML, this is what you can go into my map and look and steal these lines too if you want. It's totally fine. The class name, so silo placeable. Okay, looking for the map directory right here. It's file name, finding the XML. That XML is pointing to the correct i3D. This is the map positions, rotations, default property false, farm ID 4. So they have different farm IDs for whatever farmland those silos go to. Straightforward stuff. We covered this in animals. I have map bound ID, and then the class name, buying station placeable. Okay, that's the class name you need. You can look at the base game as well. The base game has an item XML for the USA map and for the European map. It'll show a lot of this as well. You could follow that as well if you don't want to look at my sloppy work here. Yeah, this is dry fertilizer. This one I have 2 XMLs, but both these XMLs are pointing to, they're different XMLs, but they're pointing to the same i3D. So, and they just have different functions. One pours out faster than the other. That's another thing you can actually adjust in the XML is how fast that fertilizer comes out how fast it takes or how slow it takes to fill up your wagon with fertilizer or whatever. Okay, so we had seed here, buying station placeable, all of those. There should be a selling station placeable. There we go. FCS is a selling station placeable. There are some in here that are going to be different. So let's look here. This one right here. This one is more advanced stuff. We're not going to get to this yet. But if you go in here and look at this, you're going to see that this is a different class name. This is not animal husbandry. It's not a selling point. It's not a buying point. It's FS19 Lincoln Creek fill type converter. And that is through a script that we're going to get into later, baking scripts into the map, or not baking script, just calling forth scripts in the map. And that one script is basically creates a whole new class name or whatever. So I think there's another one in here, class name. Oh no, it's just animal husbandry. Okay, but this has a different map bound ID, whatever. That's the dealer. Cows. I don't think there's any other crazy ones here. Class name workshop for selling station vehicles. Class name farmhouse placeable. That's for the sleep point. Yeah, pretty straightforward. If you just it all makes sense if once you practice it enough. So it's super straightforward. All you have to do, remember this, the 3 XMLs and the i3D that XML is pointing to. Okay, all you need to know. And then obviously you can copy my work or Giants' work, or just look at their items XML, their mod desk as well. Then it all flows from there. Okay. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you. We covered a lot of placeables, but the placeable system is very straightforward once you get the first couple done. Yeah. I don't know what we're gonna do next episode. I still got to figure that out. I wonder if we should do the seasons mask now. But yeah, maybe we'll do the seasons mask next episode. It's not really relevant for FS 22, but we'll see about that. And then we're gonna switch over to adding foliage textures. We're gonna fix errors that are in our map. Yeah, a lot of add fill types, bunch of different stuff. Okay, so man, we're cruising along. I'll see you in the next episode, and yeah, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you later.